All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt. We just went through the list of agencies that need to update or add their agency on to Illinois WorkNet, the service finder location. And I have Kimberly Heinisch with me, who is going to show you how to do that. You get your own tutorial with this. So Kimberly, take it away.
Hello. So there's a few different ways to get to the service finder to either add or update your site. The first option is to use the drop-down menu, and under Network and Connect, you'll see the Illinois WorkNet Service Finder. And then whether you're logged in or not, you can click on Add or Edit Locations. If you're not logged in, it will prompt you to log in, just so that you're all of you should have already partner level access. And so from there, you're going to see this screen and you'll type in your location name. So
let's look for somebody that's in there.
Someone that is
Can we do Lumity, please?
For Lumity.
Lumity. And then I have the access level that I have is obviously different than the access level you guys will have. So I can see everything, but you guys will not be able to just click on anybody's site. But your guys' accounts are all tied to where you should be at. So for Lumity, once you type it in, you can just apply the filter. Because a lot of the sites are inactive due to not being updated every 6 months. How the system works is you'll receive an email notification every 6 months telling you that the site needs added or updated. This is just to ensure the information is correct. So because a lot of these sites are inactive, be sure that you check for both, for active or inactive, because if not, it won't show. So once you find the site, you'll just click edit and it will take you here. It'll take you to the physical location information screen. And on here, I recommend just starting, if say that you haven't been the primary contact or you have not been, your site is very outdated. You can see that the last updated for Lumity was in 2017. So what I would recommend is just going through each of the options just to make sure that everything is correct. The physical location information screen, contacts, organization type and funding, and primarily the audience and services are the main ones, tabs that you should check, just because those are the ones that will change often, along with social media, because with the pandemic we have noticed a really big increase of users and individuals using the service finder from all different areas in Illinois. And so they'll if there's a website or social media, that's how they can kind of figure out what you guys do. So because the site is inactive, you can go to the timeline and you can see any of the information and notes. I was actually the one who made this site inactive in 2017. I am info@illinoisworknet.com. So if you respond to an email of any sort, more than likely it looks like the primary contact no longer wanted to be a partner. Maybe they weren't part of a program anymore and they didn't want to honestly receive the email notification. And so the primary contact we have on file is Lahisha, but the contact can be changed. And if it doesn't allow you to, you can email info@. And so whenever you're making a site updates, make sure that you click yes for being active. And for why you're making this update, just say that verifying information. You can just leave like whatever little note. The services are available too. So it's basically, if you're only an admin office, you would click that, unless you're open to general public, enrolled. Then let's see. You can put the eligibility criteria description. It's not required. The organization name and address is all, of course, really important to do and make sure it's correct because a lot of organizations have moved over the years. The zip code +4 will automatically update, and phone number and general email are also a good idea to check because those often change along with the hours, especially during a pandemic. So if the website, you're able to check that the URL is working good. A lot of websites have changed with adding the S to the HTTP. So it's really easy to just update. You can choose a logo if you'd like. The TTY number, that automatically updates from whatever this number is. You can just click use Illinois. And so then you're going to approve and continue. You can change your contacts, add social media, the organization type and funding. You'll just select one of those. Audiences and services. This is required, it is required now to have at least one type of customer type. So whether it's general public, adult, or youth. But it looks like the site it's been a while, so this wasn't a required feature at the time. There's services for individuals and services for businesses. You'll just select one, you can select however many. And then if there's specific counties are offered in, you'll select that, or you can do statewide. And so once you're done with that, you would just click save and continue. And then on the preview screen is really nice that you can see everything all at once. So some people would like to start here. That's not a problem. And you can just click on edit for whichever tab you want. Because there's errors in this, primarily because I guarantee it's about the audiences and services, needing to add an audience. I'm not able to see this information is correct. And so you would just click that button and then the site would be active and updated. And the other way to get to the service finder to update would be going to your dashboard. Under partner tools, you'll have the service finder administration little icon. And whenever the page loads, we have a lot of sites. And so I have the admin access, so it goes a little bit slower on my screen. And then you would just type in the name. And again, my biggest advice is to always do the both, just because a lot of the sites are made inactive after 6 months. We have really good instructions also on Illinois WorkNet's partner sites, and I believe Dee has it also on your guys' program page.
I do.
Yes, I thought so. And again, I can be reached on info@illinoisworknet.com. I'd be happy to help you walk through step by step. I know I was working with a few people within the last 2 weeks, but my emails weren't going through. So I know that there's one site that may be on the call right now that they began adding the information, but they did not finish. So I'm not able to verify the information is correct to be able to move forward with approving the site. This is the most commonly skipped fields. It's Haven Youth and Family Services if they're on the call. The most commonly
Kate, is that you? Kate, unmute yourself, Kate, and just let her finish right now.
It is. I'm trying so hard to do it right now as you're walking me through it, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I missing?
Oh, sorry. I'm a fast talker, so I've actually never have showed this like this. So Dee just kind of had this random. So this, I know because I've looked over this a few times, just checking each week for Dee. So the organization type and funding, this will need filled out. You'll select which organization type you are, and then the funding source. WIOA is blocked off because this is something that comes through Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. So if for any of you guys are WIOA funded, you'll just send an email to info@illinoisworknet.com and we'll put you in touch with Paula and Commerce.
So Kate, what kind of organization are you? Are you a CBO or are you a social service agency?
Social service.
All right, so let her. And
for
then
your
you're
funding
other
source-
funded because you're DHS, right?
DHS, yeah, the CCBYS and IEP.
So click the other one, Kimberly.
Other, okay. When it comes to the funding source, I get a little confused.
You and me
And
both.
then, and then what is your audience? What's your customer type?
Youth and LGBTQ.
Okay. And do you have a minimum age for the youth?
16 to 23.
Okay.
And services is, I imagine, like education and
Yeah,
training.
Housing, we do food, nutrition, emergency crisis. So I can go back in there and
Yeah.
I thought I filled all that in for you. I would hate to take everybody's time up.
Why
I can-
don't you go in, because this should put you on the list at least.
Okay.
So why don't you check, it's Cook County, right, Kate?
Cook County?
No, the area we're servicing is actually Lake County.
Lake
Okay.
County. Okay, so I will be.
HIJKL.
So I just click career related materials, but you can go back and remove or obviously add more. So
Okay.
you're gonna click save and continue. And then you will click, I'm gonna click approve because I have been in contact, I believe, with you. And so I know that you'll go back and get it. So then I'll take a little bit, but again, mine goes a lot slower than your guys's because of the access. So then the location is, so the Haven is now an approved service finder site. So you should receive an email. Yes, you'll probably receive the automatic email. But again, if you have any questions, I am always here. We try to respond on info within 2 to 3 business days. Right now, we don't have a huge increase of emails, so we are getting to you basically daily.
Okay, so
So-
now, Lita Connor from EDDR is just what they are. So can you look real quick for them? Just to, let's do one more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So EDDR, I've looked at this a few different times. We don't have anything in there for
So-
them. So they haven't been a partner in the past.
All right, and then Charlisa is saying she's looking and she can't see Lumity on her end. Could that mean that she doesn't have access?
Let's see. Do you have her email?
She can type it in the chat. CPUGH@lumity.org. GH.
CPUGH?
CPUGH@lumity.org.
So this is how you add a contact. So you so you'll search by the email. More than likely they already have an account. And I assume that all that information is correct just because you already have access with the youth tools. So now there should be an email that's sent to you regarding being added as a contact. And so you'll be able to just click on that and easily go to the site. And if
And is Lahisha Williams still part of your organization?
No, she isn't.
okay, then we can just remove that. So that's typically what happens whenever someone leaves, somebody else doesn't become the partner listed as a primary or secondary, so they don't get an email. Is there
Okay, well,
anyone
thank you
else?
so much because I've been trying to access this deed since you told us we needed to, and
Yeah,
what am I doing wrong? So once I get that email, I should be able to access this. Is that right?
yes. And I'm gonna make this site active and I'm gonna say contact is coming back to update. So it'll be easier for you to find because the most common problem is not being able to find it because forgetting to hit the active.
Okay, and it looks like you've made me active, it looks like. So
Yes.
I
Yep.
will get that finished today. Thank you so very much.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, so while I've got Kimberly on the phone, because her time is precious, does anybody else have a question that we can, Anthony, got your hand raised.
Yeah, so we're not on the list, but I'm curious to know if I want to find out who is in charge in our organization for updating this every 6 months, just to make sure that we have our finger on the right pulse. How would I find out who that is?
Yeah,
I think
you
you
can-
broke up a lot. I couldn't hear you.
I think they were asking about how to find out who the contact is, just to make sure their site doesn't become inactive.
Okay.
That's a really
So-
great question. So
And
you
you're
can,
with Saint Sabina, right? So is it the Catholic something Saint Sabina?
Saint,
Saint Sabina.
I know that they are a partner.
Okay.
And so they are, if this is the same location that you are at, they are they're WIOA funded. So those sites usually always stay active because Commerce gets a notification. And so those sites almost always stay active. Whenever it comes to sites that are not WIOA funded, they tend to become inactive. Usually a primary, secondary contact leaves and someone doesn't take over. But for Saint Sabina, sorry, I'm gonna say it
Sabina.
wrong.
No, you're fine. I know all the people on this list. We're good.
Okay,
We'll be good
great.
for a
But
while.
yeah, usually there are contacts that are outdated. So yep, anytime you can.
So
email
those are good?
info.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? It's Kate again from Haven. I'm on that same page and I don't have the button that says add
You
to
don't
add a
have-
contact. I'm just wondering if I'm missing something.
Haven Youth, right?
Haven Youth and Family,
Okay.
yeah.
And so on which tab are you on?
The contact, the
Oh, contact.
contacts.
And it doesn't say add contact?
No, all I have is the search for an email, which I did. It says, sorry, no results, but it's not giving me anywhere on this page to add a contact. Like I see it on your end, but I
Yeah.
don't see that on my end.
Okay, thank you for saying that. That is an issue, and I am going to address that with the programmers, because if it should say like, yeah,
The only button I have is return to list. Out of those 4 that I see right there, the only one I have is return to list.
and
Kate,
whenever you
Kate, can you take a screenshot and email it to me and I'll send it out
Absolutely.
to
You got it.
That's thank you for that. Yeah, because if your screen like allows you to search, and then if it doesn't find that person, you are able to create an account for that person. The only thing is we ask that you tell the person at least, so that they're able to log into their account and update their information. Thank you for that, though.
All right. Okay, so Kate's gonna send me that. I'll forward it off.
Can you find the beauty
Really?
supply and take me to it?
Somebody else is talking. Who was
Hermes.
talking? Aaliyah, can I help you with something? Okay. Okay, so
Hi,
next,
Kimberly. I'm sorry, this is Chanel. I had my hand raised, not sure if you saw it.
no, I
Um,
didn't. So,
No problem. I'm having the same issue as I'm trying to add the location for my agency, and it's not doing a drop-down tab. And if I type it in manually, it's not submitting. I may not be like the primary point of contact, as my supervisor is on maternity leave at this point, and she did designate me to fill in while she's out. So I'm not sure if you can give me access to be able to make these changes that's needed by today.
Yeah.
Chanel, what organization are you with?
Children's Home and Aid.
Let's see if they are a partner. I remember looking them up. What's the address?
5958 South Marshfield.
So is
Okay,
it Children's Home and Aid or is it Children?
Children's with an apostrophe S.
I believe this is one that needs added, if I remember correctly.
I've got the list.
As I say, I just checked.
Children's Home and Aid needs to be added.
Yes.
So So then how does she add a new site from the service finder page?
All right, let me go to where I'm not logged in.
So from Illinois WorkNet Service Finder in that menu under Network and Connect,
Mm-hmm.
then you would go down here and you would add or edit a location.
Correct. And I think that's where the complication was coming, where it didn't do the drop down, or am I just manually entering our name?
You're manually entering it.
Got it.
Let's see. I was almost certain that one didn't have. So you are going to click add a new site. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
And then you would go through the process of like the location, name, and city. And that is primarily to make sure that there isn't already another location, because to make sure, obviously, it's not to do duplicative work on your end. And so you would click, I don't see my site here. And then agree to the terms. And then you would just begin filling out the information. It does look a little different because the organization is not a site.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, and then, okay, so you got that, Chanel?
Yes, and this will give me the access to make all the updates that's needed by today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And then
All
for the contact, you can add your boss if you'd like. You can make yourself the primary, secondary. There can be more than one contact. So that's the one good thing.
But does the contact need to have an Illinois WorkNet partner account?
If the contact creating the site,
Or being added?
either way, if they do not have an account, there's an option to create an account on the fly now.
Yay.
Yes.
But you do have to add their birth date, it looks like, correct?
Yes, I think
Or
that
an
was
account,
one
yeah.
of the requirements. And that's the one thing about that is we've had we're still trying to determine how to make the process a little bit easier. One thing is some people will choose like just click on the first date that shows, because once that person logs into their account for the first time, they get the verification screen. And so then they have to update or verify all of their information. That's a little workaround right now.
Yeah. All right, Janice Mitchell from Urbana Neighborhood Connections said that she's having a hard time finding her organization. Can you look real quick?
Is Urbana?
And then we're gonna move on. This was the bulk of our call today anyway, so y'all that Urbana, yeah.
What was the name? I'm sorry.
Urbana Neighborhood Connections Center. Neighborhood. There you go. Like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Do you even know who he is, Kimberly?
Yes, yes. Giving me, I saw that benefit of the doubt. Like, I see how it is. Okay, I'm gonna see just to make sure that they're.
And she says that they're WIOA as well. So
And where's the location at?
Urbana, Illinois. By Champaign.
I know where that. I know that. I hope I spelled it right, but it does not look like they are listed, but we'll definitely want to get them listed, especially because they are WIOA funded. One of the questions whenever they go to add a new site and they're going to select WIOA funded, yes, they will be asked if they know their it's an IWDS resource room number, I believe. It's a resource room number. If they don't know it, they can email info@, and we can work with Paula Berry at DCO. Not
All right, so
everyone
Janice
knows
is
that
nodding
number.
her head. Janice is nodding her head, so. I think she'll get some of that taken care of.
Okay, awesome. And then again, we're always available on info at.
And Hadassah from Institute for Positive Living says she doesn't see an edit button. So Hadassah, same thing that I asked Kate to do. If you can take a screenshot of what you're not seeing and send that to me, then I will get it on to our programmer team. All right. She gave me a thumbs up. Okay. Any other questions for Kimberly before we let her go?
This is Goldie. I just completed ours for EDDR Foundation. Can you check and see if we're there?
Yeah, great question. Let's see.
Look, you were doing work while you were on the meeting. You go, girl.
Oh, great.
Look at
Okay,
you.
so let me make sure that there's no missing fields.
And we also have 2 different locations though. We have Chicago and Rockford. I only put Chicago.
How
For
can she add a second location, Kimberly?
to add a second location, you'll go through the same process, just with a different address.
Okay.
We've been,
Oh, but then we would do the whole thing over again.
Yes. ma'am.
yes.
Oh, got it.
So
Okay.
what's your organization type, Goldie? Are you a CBO or are you a social service agency? What are you? Faith-based organization? What are you?
We're a hodgepodge of all of it. We're
And you are able to go back and edit it.
okay. So we're a CBO. That's the
Okay.
easiest way.
And you're DHS funded right now. Are you WIOA
Yes.
funded as well?
Not yet.
So pick the other for me, please.
And whenever you were adding your site, did it not have you complete these?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Okay. Yep, I'm gonna talk to the programmers on that as well.
I only had like 3 or 4 tabs. I think 4 tabs.
Okay. Yep, that seems to be an issue, and that would make sense about the Haven site as well, that they didn't have that portion done.
Okay, so Goldie, when you go back in there, can you take a screenshot of the tabs that you see and send that to me, please?
Yes, I think I'm still in there right now.
Okay. Charlisa asked me how will we know if we are all good and not on the naughty list? Because you want Santa Claus to come, right?
I've been doing a check each week.
So Kimberly checks for me, and especially before we're going to have a TA call, she checks for me to make sure that I've got everybody in here that I need to have in here. But otherwise, every 6 months, you just need to go in. Just go in anyway, like put it on your calendar, like 5 months from now, to go in and check your organization. And if you've got an organization calendar, give it to somebody that would be able to go in and check. Somebody that's been there forever, since God was a child, and be able to get in there and know the history of the organization and be able to get that information updated on a regular basis. Because I'm sure this is not the last time that you're going to be working with DHS or WIOA or one of our other providers as a grantee. And we want all of our grantees in the list so that you can be found.
Yes, and they're, especially during the pandemic and before, Service Finder is one of the most used tools available to the public all across the state. And that's whenever customers or individuals, job seekers, anyone reaches out to info at, that's how we find who to put them in connection with as well.
And so instead of sending me an email and saying, hey, who's doing this? And they can just look it up right away. All right, last chance to ask Kimberly questions. Otherwise, you can send her an email at info@illinoisworknet.com, and she will get that handled for you. thank you so much for jumping in, Kimberly. I really appreciate your time and your explanation. You did a great job for everybody.
Well, thank you. Sorry,
Thank
that
you
was
so
a lot
much,
of time. So, well,
Thank you.
if you guys need anything at all, or say that you just want to check on who the contacts are, or if you just want to be able to access that information and you need to access, no matter what, you can send us an email and I'll be glad to work with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Okay, now I'm going to share my screen again so that all righty. So now that we've gotten that handled, hopefully everybody can get their piece updated. What I want to do now is I want to talk about the questions that you guys might have. So if you have no questions, you're welcome to leave us, but Brandon is on the call and I do have some questions from Mikva. So Kristen, do you happen to be in the audience? Let me scroll down my list.
I am.
Yay, okay. So, okay, and then Byron says, I noticed that IQA is hosting several webinars beginning today. Are there specific webinars that IYIP agencies should participate in to become more informed? For example, Casey is scheduled to, yes, you need to do Casey Life Skills training if you have not already. And we are working on getting a piece added to your grant information for your organization to say who has been Casey Life Skills certified. So we'll get that rolling. So now, Kristen happened to have emailed her questions. So I'm gonna, because she followed the instructions. So we're gonna ask hers first. And one of them is, can we pull data from workNet when reporting functions exist so that we might plan for what data we need to store in our own systems versus what we can pull from workNet? And Kristen, we are in the process of updating some reports. In fact, we're having a meeting Thursday morning to verify that information. And by the time you're ready to go, because I think you're category 1 only, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so we'll have all of the reporting ready to go and we'll demo it before. So just keep up with some of our meetings, watch our webinars if you can't make the meeting, and then we'll get updates out to everybody as they go. And then another question was, our finance team is looking for clarification on how to submit invoices and the process to share financial documents for reimbursement. So Brandon is, I saw you, Nicole's on the call. Who wants to answer that question?
This is Brandon. I did send Kristen an email replying to that question. Does she still need me to address that though?
No, I think we got clarification. I checked, one of our finance leads is on paternity leave. So I think there might have just been an issue with who the documentation got sent to. So I'll follow up with you, Brandon.
Oh, okay.
All right, Kate had her
Great.
hand raised about that same thing, I think.
Just a general, Brandon, can you provide like a general clarification just to make sure that we're on track with those invoices?
So everyone will have a monthly expenditure report, a workbook that you should have been sent by now, and you should have already submitted your September expenditure report, even if you didn't have any expenses. I know several of you are just doing category 1. And even if you didn't have any expenses for the month of September, it's still a requirement of the grant and a requirement of us at DHS. We have to have an expenditure report every month of the 10 months of the grant year.
Can I just ask, because you're saying September right now, are we behind? Like, should I not be panicked that we are only submitting from Friday?
Y'all can tell whether or not I have it or not.
Nicole, say that again.
Sorry.
Which provider is asking? I can let you know if I have it or not. I have a running list of who I have and what I don't have.
It's Kate from Haven.
Dee, you said that with such enthusiasm. It's Kate from Haven. Ah, crap. Here we go again.
And I can't move my screen right now to look at my running list. But send me an email right after this, and I can email you back and let you know if I have or what I don't have from you. Okay?
It's not, I guess it's not so much if you have it or not. It's more so, is this the kind of normal routine of it that you submit like now for what's in the past? I just want to make sure that the rhythm is flowing correctly.
Yes, they're due on the 30th, and they would cover like November 30th. You'll be sending in October expenditures. November and December 30th, you'll be sending in your November expenditures. That's how it works.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, and then Kate or Kristen also asks, we've been searching through Illinois through workNet and haven't found anything so far, but are wondering if there is a data validation handbook, audit checklist, templates for financial and program reports, or forms for tracking case management available on workNet somewhere. So I can answer the case management. That's what, if you click, once you enter your youth names, you'll have people in a list like this that's on the screen right now. And if you click on their last name, it takes you to the case management file where you can keep everything here online in the Illinois WorkNet system. And there's a progress page, there's a career plan where you can set their steps, and there will be pre-populated steps added. You can add case notes. You can follow through with their assessments that you do, including the Casey Life Skills Assessment. You can upload documents so that if you want to scan and upload anything, just make sure that any PII information has been redacted so that that's not showing on an uploaded screen, because this is not an encrypted server. And then worksite placement is information that shows where you have them placed for jobs. So this handles the case management. I don't know about a data validation handbook. We haven't, Brandon, I don't remember ever having a conversation about that.
No, I don't either.
In all the years that we've been doing this, I don't think so. And then an audit checklist, you guys go through, are you talking a fiscal audit or a case file audit?
A case file audit.
Okay, I have one that we used on a different program, but I don't know. Brandon, do you have something when you do desk reviews?
Just what's in the NOFO and in the contract of what's required to be kept. That's just basically what we go by.
Okay. So if you have your NOFO, you can check to see what your requirements are.
Yeah, or if they want to email me, I mean, I can send them just that part. Because I know the NOFO is very lengthy and there's a lot of information.
Yeah, I think we were going through the NOFO, so I think we'll probably we can make kind of like our own checklist. We were just checking if one existed before we made something to use for our own internal purposes. So I think we've got the items, and we'll take care of that. And thank you for the clarification on the case management. We don't have students yet or youth yet because we're a summer program, and so we haven't been able to see some of the dashboard that you're showing us, Dee. So this is helpful to see it.
Kristen, if you were talking, you were kind of like, you were like one of those low talkers that Jerry Seinfeld hates, but if you are looking for dashboard information, you can get it here by clicking on the dashboards in DHS Youth. So it may be that certain people don't have access that are trying to find this. And if that's the case, then we need to do some user management work with you. Yes, you don't have youth yet. Yeah, right. So a lot of that stuff will show up in the reports, and right here where the bar graph is the reports page. And we have some DHS reports, DHS Youth PPR report, but we are in the process of making some modifications to this. The DHS Youth Risk Report will give you risk factors that some of your youth met. And then there is one more the customer services report will give you if your youth have been assigned a particular service through their career plan. You'll be able to see who has had that information. So hopefully that will help you. And then we also have the DHS. So if you're looking for any instructions or anything, we have the DHS Youth Partners page that has a link right here with a full list of resources. And it has partner training materials and videos, recordings of tutorials of how to actually specifically do something. So if we need any recordings for reporting, we can do those later once we get everything updated. Okay, all righty. All right, so now, Anthony, you said you had a question.
Really, really appreciate it. I hope my sound isn't breaking up this time.
A little bit better.
Okay, cool. So this is for Brandon or Nicole. We're looking at the risk factors from COSYP. The same ones are now in the IYIP. Looking at the portal itself, the one that Dee has on screen, not all of those risk factors are captured. For example, living in a poverty area or for example, like that is not captured in the risk factors that you have for us in the NOFO or that you ask us to report. So it's like you're missing valuable data. Is that by design? That's the question.
Some of the risk factors we have to add to the application so that we can track them.
Mm-hmm.
And my programmer has been down for 2 days with not being able to get into the system at all. So he's lost 2 full days of work. You may have to go back, and some of the people that are a little bit older, you may have to go back and we may have to update some of those risk factors.
Okay. With respect to partners like category 3 partners, category 2 partners, is it okay if, for the sake of speed, we move forward with placements and you guys can work with us to get them approved, or you require that they must be approved first before we can use them? Either, for example, I have Olive Harvey as an incoming partner, I have Chicago State as an incoming partner, and we don't have anything approved by you yet, DHS yet. So do we have to wait for that approval? Can we move forward for category 2 and category 3 placements and then get those approvals at whatever time you guys are able to work with us to get those? Does my question make sense?
I got something about category 3 and 4 youth being approved. Are you talking about the providers being approved?
Yes, I am. So I have some new providers that are coming online, and I wanted to make sure that we wouldn't run afoul of DHS protocol if we put youth in there before they were approved. By name, I have Step Up with Chicago State and Olive Harvey, and I just needed to make sure that we were good to go as is, and then send those for approval as time, for you guys to approve as time permits on your end. Category 3. Brandon,
Okay,
no?
yeah, yes, for category 3, it's, well, or for any category, if it's someone different, then that's in your IYP application. If it's and I heard you say new partner, so I guess it's someone, if it's somebody that's not in your application, then please email me with the information and then I can approve it.
Okay, last question is about disbursements. So low risk providers or low risk agencies, we're expecting some advance funds. Do you guys have a timeline for that?
Yes, okay, so I was going to address that because that's most of the questions I've been getting recently have been about the 2/10 or the advance payment, the 20% payment, and actually everyone, receives that. From what I understand, what I've got from fiscal, sending them several inquiries, is that about half the providers have been paid so far, and we're working on getting the other half paid. Everything, all the contracts and signature pages and everything that's been sent to me, W-9 forms, everything's been submitted. So, I'm just checking with the fiscal and the comptroller's office and trying to get those payments issued.
Thank you so much for all the hard work you guys do. That's it from St. Sabina. Have a good one, guys.
All right, Kate's next. Surprise, surprise.
Fantastic. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so it's actually a question I'm curious about from all the partners who might still be on the call. Is anybody else having a really challenging time getting parents to say yes to allow their children to work, and or for work sites pulling out saying because of COVID they're not willing to take risks? We are hitting some walls, and I'm just wondering if we're alone in that or if other people are experiencing it as well.
Anybody got examples they want to share? Unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Jamie with JCFS. We have experienced the same issue with work sites pulling out. A lot of it's because the work site itself is too small to maintain social distancing, or their business is down, so they don't have enough work for their own employees, so they don't want to bring on an extra employee from us. We haven't had too many issues with parents saying no, the client can't work, but we have had issues enrolling into the program to begin with.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Dee or Brandon, are there any, I guess I feel when we know what our numbers are supposed to be and we know where we're supposed to meet those goals and we're not being able to meet them right now because of everything going on, is the state going to be considerate of that if we're not able to make everything work right now?
Brandon.
Yes, this is a time like no other, and I know that affects employment, work sites, youth participants, everything. So just communicate those problems they're having, and then also like something I see a lot of questions or several people have asked about like site visits. Have the site visits started yet, or wondering why they haven't? And it's because we're wrapping up other programs and these final reports from these other programs. And if about half of you or about half of the providers that are IYP know this because they were doing the other program, you have reports where you have plenty of opportunity to explain, why you maybe didn't hit your goals on those reports. So, and of course, COVID would be a reason.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I think the only final question that I have then also pertains a little bit to eventually we're going to be notified and given at least 2 weeks to make sure we're prepared for the site visit, correct?
Yes.
It's a site visit.
It's not going to be like to talk to you tomorrow or anything. Right.
Okay.
My goal is once we get everybody paid, and that takes a lot of time right now to get everyone's contract and budget done and amendments and everything, and the other program wrapped up, then site visits will be next.
Okay, and just last thing, deadlines for reports. Is there a list somewhere for deadlines? Or is that just something we'll get that email about, Dee, that you were talking about earlier too, that there's going to be an email when we finally start diving into the reports that we'll be able to have like a virtual?
Oh, we'll have we'll have a session like this for the reports.
Okay, so I shouldn't be freaking out yet.
No,
The only reports right now are those monthly expenditure reports. And Nicole asked for those by the 15th. And then the final deadline's the 30th, and that's for the previous month. So like she said, like September is due by October 30th. October's is due by November 30th. But of course, the sooner you submit the report, the sooner you can get paid.
Fantastic. Dee and Brandon, seriously, thank you so much for even doing this for us today, this extra
That's no
for the
problem.
newbies.
Charlisa asked if programs are running virtually right now, how will we do site visits? So let me tell you, I do virtual calls with people all the time, and I share my screen, or else I have the agency share their screen, and I will go through. I did desk audits for 18 agencies for another program, and I did them virtually because we were just finishing up when COVID was ending, or was coming strong. And it's really easy to do it. I like it a whole lot better because I don't have to drive into the city or down to Peoria or anywhere. I can just sit on my desk or stand at my desk, and I have my screen up. The only thing that you can't do is look for paper copies of files. So that's why I suggest that you upload anything to that customer file that might be a paper copy of something. And then we don't have to worry about if you have it or not. Using the system to enter everything makes it a whole lot easier for Brandon or Nicole or me or anybody to come in and look blind without knowing how your filing system is. We can go in and do a desk audit in the middle of the night if we are not able to sleep. So Brandon, what do you think?
Well, yes, they're going to be done virtually, and I know obviously I've only done in-person site visits, so it's going to be a new thing. But as we'll do as much in advance, looking at documents and requirements and everything before the visit as we can.
Sharisa Lawson said, we here at Leslie Bates are having the same issues due to COVID-19. So Kate, you're not alone. Kristen asked in the chat, this past summer we ran our program virtually where our youth were interns working from home for offices. When it comes to this upcoming summer, can our organization make the decision about whether youth will be in person on our own, or would we need to consult with IDHS? Similarly, would our organization have sole liability for any issues if youth were in person and fell ill? Brandon, that's in the chat if you want to read it.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't catch the end of that. Oh, yes, you can make the decision whether youth will be in person or virtual. This past summer, that most of the providers did it virtually, or did it not in person because you weren't able to most of the time.
And then Ariel Nieves, I don't know what organization you're with, Ariel. May we still count on the 2/10 advance for IYIP?
Yes, like I said, my understanding is about half the providers have received it, and we're working on getting the other half to. I don't know why they haven't been processed yet, but that's what we're asking about. But yeah, all providers will get the 2/10.
All right, and I think I got everybody's questions. So if you don't have any other questions, you don't want to unmute your mic or type them in the chat, we will adjourn for the day and see you guys all on the 15th. We will make sure that everybody understands how to close out youth that are part of YEEP. So if you are part of that, make sure that you're planning on staying, and hopefully we've got some reports and stuff ready to show you by then. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.